Hi, I'm Miss Katie and this is the first BOOKFLIX recommendation series of this year, and today I'll be talking to you about this book, The Girl Who Saw Lions, and telling you some of the reasons why I enjoyed reading it and why I think you might too. So it's a chapter book by Berlie Doherty, and she's also written Blue John, Treason and Joe and the Dragnosaurus, which can all be found in the library, and she's also written some other books and picture books. She's won 2 Carnegie medals for writing some other outstanding books as well that we don't have in the library, so her books are definitely worth reading. The Girl Who Saw Lions is probably best suited for years 5 to 6. It's quite long, with a lot of chapters and not really many pictures. But the language is quite simple and accessible, so don't be afraid by the length or how many words there are. It's not too complex, but the reason I say year 5 and 6 is because the book does deal with some more complex and heavy topics like adoption, poverty and death. The book is also quite realistic. It does not disguise hardships in life when talking about Abella and Rosa, who are the 2 main characters. There are some difficult themes, and so it would maybe be good if you discuss them with your parents. The inclusion of these themes opens up opportunity for conversations, which I think is a good thing, and the book also encourages you to sympathize with and understand all the emotions of Abella and Rosa, the 2 main characters, and to really put yourself in their shoes. So Abella is the girl who saw lions, as the title suggests, and then Rosa is the other main character. Abella is from Tanzania and her family is really poor, and she's lost her mother to disease. And she and the rest of her family are struggling to survive until her uncle Thomas arrives and decides to take her to Britain with him. And this happens quite early on in the book. However, and not to give too much away, her uncle's intentions are not as good as they seem to be in taking her to Britain. Meanwhile, in Britain, Rosa, who's the same age as Abella, or roughly, lives with her mum, who's her best friend. It's just the 2 of them. And she's absolutely shocked when her mum announces that she's thinking of adopting a child, because she loves her life the way it is, and like, why would her mum want another child when she has her? So that's the premise of the story, and the whole time you're waiting to find out if Abella and Rosa will become sisters. So the 2 girls have grown up in very different worlds. Rosa's used to being the center of attention. She loves fashion and ice skating, but Abella has had to grow up really quickly and has grown up having to take care of her family. So one of the main reasons I like this book and why I'm recommending it to you is because the chapters alternate between the perspectives of Abella and Rosa. So the first chapter opens up and introduces you to Abella and her mom, and her life in Tanzania, and it sets the scene. And then the next chapter does the same thing, but for Rosa and her life in Sheffield in Britain with her mom. And so because of this layout, you get to know the 2 main characters really well, and each girl's story and their own experiences take up a large part of the book, and you kind of hear their own life from their own voice because of this format. And the alternating chapters also makes you want to keep reading the book. You always want to get to the next chapter to see what's happening in the other girl's life. So there's constant suspense, and you'll find yourself whizzing through the chapters because you just want to get back to where it left off in the last girl's chapter. Also, the 2 girls, they only meet towards the end of the book, so there's a lot of anticipation that builds throughout about if they'll get along, if they'll actually, if Abella will get adopted by Rosa and her mom, and so if they're sisters, how that will all go and how the story will end. So it does a really good job of getting you to fly through the book, and you'll read it quicker than you think you might. And the alternating perspectives also really emphasize the difference between the 2 girls' lives and experiences, so you can really get a good picture of how different life can be for 2 girls who are roughly the same age, and you can also compare their 2 lives to your life. So overall, this is a very moving, emotional, and at times serious book. There is also adventure and crime, as well as a lot of moments of happiness and kind-heartedness. So if you want a book, a fiction book, that will really open your eyes to other people's life experiences whilst also promoting compassion and inclusion, I would say that this is the book for you. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to next month's BOOKFLIX recommendation.